Hi, I'm Beth, and today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable petal pillow using the Bittersweet collection from Northcott. The trendy yellow and pink and gray tones will look great on your sofa. For this pillow, we'll be making Drunkard's Path blocks, so you'll need to use a template to cut your shapes. So we've printed out our pattern, and just make sure that our scale box measures 1 inch square. If it doesn't, your shapes aren't going to be the right size. So for this one, we're cutting 8 of each shape. You can use just the paper. If you are going to make a bigger quilt or a bigger project, you might want to get some template plastic, and then you can trace those shapes and cut them out and use those. Next, we'll sew our Drunkard's Path blocks. So you'll take one of your pattern A and one of your pattern B and transfer the marks from the patterns. And this always looks a little crazy, but you'll put a pin through the dot on the one and then on the other, and then we'll match that up and pin that. Now next, you'll do that on the end dots as well. And then just line that up. And then you'll want to add a lot of pins in here along the edge and just kind of smooth it out as you go. So sewing on curves isn't hard, but you definitely need to pin for this. And then do the same thing on the other side. Match up those dots. And then pin along the rest of the curve. So once you have all your pins in, then we'll sew a 1/4 inch along the curve. So make sure you're stopping with your needle in the down position and go slow. So you'll make 4 of each of your colors. Next, we'll make our 4 patch units, and these are 3-inch squares. So lay them out according to the diagram, and then we'll sew these together in pairs. And chain piecing is a really good way to save time when you're sewing multiples together. So once you've sewn those together, you can assemble your 4 patch. And be sure to press each pair in the opposite direction, and then that way your seams will nest really nicely. So when you go to put your 4 patch together, one seam is going this way and one seam is going this way. So those will nest really nicely together. And then you can sew across one edge and make your 4 patch. Repeat this process to make 4 of each of your colorways, so you'll have a total of 8 4 patch units. Next, we'll lay out our Drunkard's Path blocks and our 4 patch units, and be sure to alternate your light and darks. And then we'll sew this together. So we've assembled our 2 pink and 2 yellow blocks, and now we'll sew these together in pairs. Once you've sewn them together in pairs, press the seams in opposite directions and then sew these together to complete your pillow top. Next, we'll add our border strips. We'll add them to the sides first and then to the top and bottom. Now that we've completed our pillow top, we've layered it with a piece of Warm and Natural Warm Company batting, and we're going to quilt it. So we're using our walking foot with a guide, and we're going to quilt 2.5-inch lines across the top of the pillow, and then we're using this fun light yellow springy thread. It's machine quilting thread from Coats. Pin or spray baste the top to your batting, and we've used a spray. And now we're going to quilt down the center of our pillow front for our first line of stitching, and then we'll go 2.5 inches and that's the size of our squares, and we'll use our guide for the rest of the way. We always recommend starting in the center and moving towards the outside. That way you can avoid distorting your pillow. Now that we've completed our first line of stitching, now we can use the guide to line up with our previous line of stitching and go the rest of the way this way and then the other way on the pillow top. So we finished quilting the front of our pillow in a grid, and now we're going to make the envelope back. So we've taken our two backing pieces, folded them under 1/4 of an inch, and top stitched on the long edge, one long edge. And then we're going to layer these right side down with the pillow, and we'll put the finished side toward the center of the pillow. These will overlap. Once you get that all lined up, you can pin that and then sew around the entire thing to finish your pillow. Now just turn it right side out and you can stuff it with your form. So our pillow is complete. Don't be intimidated by curved piecing. It's really easy and it gives you such a unique look on your project.